Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Muswin1, and first and foremost, I want to wish y'all a happy holidays. Hope you guys are doing well. So, with Melody of Memory finally out and a lot of people having finished the game, I gotta say, this game was actually pretty solid. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and it's nice to have a fun game with a good online system in the Kingdom Hearts series. Even with the lack of final mix versions, a lack of music from KH3, and the lack of an invite button, I'm still having a fun time with World Tour and also just playing online with people. My friend and I actually ended up fighting the same guy 13 times, so if you're watching this Sogya Nayo, GG man, had a great time. But in any case, we got a lot of content as far as gameplay, and I think it's a solid addition to the Kingdom Hearts series. But when it comes to the story in Melody of Memory, particularly with Kairi, people have, let's just say, varied opinions. In the fight with Master Xehanort, Kairi actually looked really cool in my opinion. If I'm being entirely honest, Kairi fighting against Master Xehanort is probably my second favorite fight scene we've gotten in the series, behind only the Envy and Aset fight in Kingdom Hearts Key back cover. I never really expected Kairi to beat Master Xehanort, considering Sora had to call on the anime power of friendship to get the dub, but personally I think she made some good progress in Melody of Memory for what we got. I feel like if this were a full-fledged game, she would have gotten some more spotlight, really she would have gotten the spotlight she deserved. But today I want to talk about Kairi as a character and why KH3 and Melody of Memory did good things for Kairi's character and what we could see from Kairi in the future. But more importantly, since the topics are kind of related, I also want to talk about if Kairi could be the next Keyblade master. But before we get into that, if you want to see more Kingdom Hearts content, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on. Also, we're pushing to get partnered by the end of next year, and if you want to help, you only have to do one simple thing. If you know someone who would like this video, go ahead and share it with a friend. And if you want to talk to me or other Kingdom Hearts fans, be sure to follow me on Twitter and become a member of the Guardians of Twilight Discord. Link will be down below in the description. So, throughout the series, and especially the last couple of games, Kairi has been a weird character to watch. In Dream Drop Distance, they set up Kairi to be a bigger part of the Guardians of Light, and after getting a Keyblade in Kingdom Hearts 2 and essentially doing nothing with it, they finally set her up to take her away from the damsel in distress role and finally put her in the action. And I, along with most of the community, was excited to see her get in on the action and really fight on the front lines alongside Sora and Riku, but then she didn't. From the moment we knew she would be fighting on the front lines, Kairi was honestly a big disappointment. We thought she would have a big moment in Kingdom Hearts 3, well this is pre-Remind, when she got through with her training, but then it was a real return to formula when she just ended up being kidnapped by Xemnas and essentially killed by Xehanort. The only thing she really ended up doing in base KH3 was making sure Sora stayed alive by believing in him, which really wasn't because of her character, but more because she was a Princess of Light, and I for one was really expecting her to do a lot more. But in Melody of Memory, Kairi really surprised me by putting up a decent fight against Master Xehanort, and personally I think this was a huge improvement over what we've seen so far. While she didn't win, she showed some pretty good battle sense in that fight. One of my favorite moments in this fight, and honestly one of my favorite moves we've seen thus far in the series, is seeing Kairi drop out of Xehanort's hand and summoning her Keyblade to continue fighting. Honestly, it's just nice to see that move used again because technically we haven't seen something like that since the Roxas fight in Kingdom Hearts 2. And watching Kairi do this again in Melody of Memory against Master Xehanort no less was just really satisfying and really shows her growth as a Keyblade wielder. It's really a major improvement from Kairi in KH3 whenever she got caught by Xemnas and essentially did nothing. I think what we saw in Melody of Memory, seeing Kairi flying around, which again is really weird because apparently Keyblade wielders can just fly now, and going solo against the main antagonist of the series was really interesting, and it makes me really excited to see what Kairi does in the future. And while it didn't really amount to much as Xehanort wasn't really trying, it was nice to see that sort of ferocity in Kairi after seeing her being so passive for so long. And don't even get me started on what happened in Remind with her and Xemnas, because one of my friends can vouch for me, because when I first saw Kairi versus Xemnas, just seeing Kairi going toe to toe with him and watching this be essentially her first time in the spotlight as a Keyblade wielder was just really satisfying. And I'm pretty sure my neighbors heard me with how loud I was cheering for that moment, but they're just gonna have to deal with it. We've seen how much Kairi changed from KH3 to Melody of Memory. Now the question is, how much will Kairi change going forward in the future of the series? Well, with Kairi going to train under Aqua, I think we'll see her come into her own in the next game or two. Training under Merlin and training with Axel, who has battle experience, is fine, but I think training under Aqua as someone who has Keyblade experience and someone who has recent fighting experience will be the thing that puts Kairi where she needs to be in terms of being as strong as Sora and Riku. Personally, I think her training under Master Aqua will be interesting to see for a couple of reasons. Because one, I think it'll be interesting to see how Kairi grows and how her battle skills get more refined and developed as Aqua is teaching her, but it'll also be interesting to see Aqua in the role of master for the first time. She's had that huge burden of essentially being responsible for Terra and Ventus, and now she's actually in the true role of master. So I think it'll be nice to see her finally be Master Aqua and train someone, because we've heard that role tossed around, but I think now that she's finally in that role, I'm really excited to see how it turns out. It'll be interesting to see if and how being in the realm of darkness affects her ability not only to fight effectively, but now take on the role of master and be responsible for not just a student, but a Princess of Heart turned Keyblade wielder, so pretty important student. We might even get to see Aqua give Kairi the Mark of Mastery exam and see Kairi become the next Keyblade master. I'm not really sure what the requirements are to administer a Mark of Mastery exam, but I still think Kairi might be the next Keyblade wielder we see turned master. And I'm sure the other Keyblade wielders in the group like Terra and maybe, as is a strong maybe, Roxas are at the level of master, but I think since they're not officially under a master being a student-teacher relationship, we could see Kairi become the next master. Kairi's always been on the sidelines since Kingdom Hearts 1, she's usually been the damsel in distress, and I agree with the community saying I wish we could have seen more from her. But I think what we've seen now is fine because it's realistic for her current level and progress as a Keyblade builder, and we could see her become even greater than what we've seen under the tutelage of Master Aqua. I think depending on how the timeline turns out, we may even get a scene of like Riku in danger in Quadratum, and Kairi could drop in and save the day after learning the power of waking. It'd be a cool way to one, insert Kairi back into action, and would also be a cool parallel and callback to the scene of Sora coming to help Riku in the Realm of Darkness. I've seen a lot of people go on about how Kairi was essentially sidelined in her own game, and I think that's a fair opinion. Playing as Kairi in the memory dive with her theme was really fun, but at the same time, after that amazing fight scene, having Sora come in to save the day was honestly a little disappointing. And I understand that Kairi couldn't have hoped to beat Master Xehanort by herself, and we got way more than I was expecting with her fight scene, but I still think it would have been cool for Kairi to get the win somehow. That being said, even after that, I don't think Kairi's character needs to be fixed. I think Kairi is exactly where she needs to be for this point in the series. Because with Sora coming in to save her and Riku essentially saying she's not strong enough or experienced enough, I think this game was less about Kairi finally coming into her own, but setting up for her to do that later in the series. So personally, I think Kairi is fine where she is. Because I do think we'll see Kairi become the Keyblade wielder we want her to be with Aqua as her teacher. Because like I said earlier, I never expected Kairi to beat Master Xehanort. Kairi was fresh out of training and didn't really get much real world fighting experience before being put in the middle of the Battle of Light and Darknesses. It's like taking someone who'd never played quarterback and expecting them to win the Super Bowl. Like, can it happen? Sure, it can technically happen, but it's not likely that it's gonna happen. And even after Rebind, she went to sleep for a year to look for Sora as we played through Melody of Memory, and then went straight in to fight Master Xehanort with no battle experience between KH3 and Melody of Memory. So I think it's fair in saying the deck was kinda stacked against her from the beginning. Personally, I think since we figured out in Dream Drop Distance, since we knew she wanted to be a Guardian of Light, Kairi's character has really been interesting. I'm not expecting Kairi to be broken or on the level of Sora and Riku by the time the next game rolls around, but personally I think the next time we see Kairi get put to the test in battle, I think she'll be able to hold her own and might even get the win. I think the losses we've seen so far are actually losses that just go toward her motivation to get stronger. Personally, I think it would have been weirder had Kairi actually beaten Xemnas and Xehanort, because when you think about it, there's no reason she should have won either of those fights. And with Kairi going to train under Aqua, I think we'll see her come into her own in the next couple of games. Personally, I think in Melody of Memory she made really good progress, and I think what we've seen is actually pretty interesting, because instead of Kairi getting out there thinking she's ready and Kairi just losing again, the game could be setting up to be what is essentially Kairi's motivation going forward to really propel her to that next level. But those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think. If you have a different opinion, make sure to let me know down in the comments. And if you liked the video, make sure you leave a like, make sure you subscribe, and share the video with a friend. My name is MooseWayne1, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace out.